I don't want you to spend all those years in pain and inefficiency. 5 years ago, I was doing what you're exactly doing right now, watching YouTube videos and trying to learn a new language. And I was doing just fine. I could read, I could listen and understand what's going on. But I couldn't speak, like at all. It was terrifying, it was painful, and I couldn't use all the wonderful vocabulary that I knew. It took me years and years to figure out what was going on. Why is it so hard? And I tried all the conventional wisdom I can find about learning the language, and it didn't work. But then I found something that actually works, and I really want to share it with you guys. First of all, we need to remember that speaking a language, any language, Russian especially because it is so far from English in terms of phonetics, is very hard. It's the most complex action for your brain. If we're using symbols for reading and writing, while we're reading, we're decoding information. We're seeing symbols, how they're separated, we're making words, and words make sense. That's how we decode information. While we're writing, we're taking the same symbols to make words and to make coherent sentences. So we're encoding information. When we are doing the same process with sounds, with all those little phonetical elements, when we listen, the same happens. We're decoding information. We're hearing different sounds. We're making words. We're separating all this line that person said. We're separating it into sections that makes words so we could comprehend. It's a very complex process itself. But when we need to speak, we need to do the same things but in opposite direction. We need to encode it. So we need to put little sound elements into words and then say it out loud. But the hardest part about speaking that you have to do this in a very, very fast speed. When you encode in writing, you have time to think. You can stop, you can rethink, you can go back. When you're speaking, you can't go back. You can't stop and think. When you do that, it interrupts the flow. You lose in your thought, or the person you talk to just gets bored. We're talking right now just of the first part, and it's a physical aspect why speaking is hard. But there is a psychological aspect as well. Speaking a foreign language or just saying something is a very intimate process. That's why speaking as any performance, why many people are terrified of public speaking, why many people are terrified of singing or just presenting something, because you're putting yourself out there and you feel like you will be judged. Speaking associated with shame. But why is it? Why do we have shame triggers? Let me tell you a story. When I was 16, I was going to church, and in church you have missionaries and they're from the foreign country. In this case, they were from America. They help people to learn English. And one day, when we were walking home from the activity to the bus stop, because not many people have cars in Russia, I was trying to use English and say something. But apparently, when I was trying to explain something about horse, I even don't remember what it was. He heard, like one of the missionaries heard that I'm saying about whore, and I even didn't know that word at that point. And I was very embarrassed. And I was embarrassed not by the fact that I made a mistake. I was embarrassed by the fact that that person made fun of me. And it hurts. I know it hurts. Because when you experience shame, it feels like you're not good enough. In the book, Daring Greatly, Brené Brown said, "When our self-worth isn't on the line, we're far more willing to be courageous and risk sharing our raw talents and gifts." What my self-worth is tied to. So being good and performing good was tied to being good, like a person, deep inside. If I'm not a good academically, I'm not good. It's not like I made a mistake in that test. No, it just means I'm bad. I don't deserve love. That's what it meant for me. That's why it was so hard speaking. If you make mistakes when you speak Russian, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad learner. No. It just makes you a human. And it's okay to make mistakes. The thing is that language learning is not an art to master and perfect yourself. Not really. In our world, language learning is a tool. You're learning language for something. You have a goal. And it serves your purpose that will make your life easier and better and maybe more entertaining. When I was 26, I got a scholarship to go to American university, but to be accepted actually in that university, I needed to pass TOEFL, which is testing of English as foreign language. And I couldn't speak. And speaking is a part. If you fail this part, you are not going to be accepted. I had only 6 weeks to get ready for that. And here's my 5 best ways that actually helped me to speak, even though I was terrified. So first thing that you can do, you can take phrases that you already learned and put them into stories. This is encoding information in terms of writing. And then when you have this story, try to retell it or paraphrase it. Just work with it. Make it a little bit more flexible. First, you're incorporating vocabulary that you just learned, which helps you to remember it much more. And second, you are practicing how to speak. So here's a little example how you can make it. Here's the same quote that I mentioned before by Brené Brown, but in Russian.
Мы гораздо более охотно проявляем мужество и рискуем поделиться с миром своими талантами и одаренностью, когда самооценка не поставлена на карту.
We can take several phrases from this text, like гораздо более охотно, проявлять мужество, поделиться с миром, поделиться талантами, поделиться одаренностью, поставлена на карту. Поставлена на карту is an expression. So if we want to put it in a story, it will sound something like that.
Света не любила цветы. Она гораздо более охотно предпочитала конфеты, как подарок. Однажды ее друг Сергей проявил мужество и принес Свете букет цветов на день рождения. Света расстроилась, но ничего не сказала, потому что их дружба была поставлена на карту.
Ask yourself silly questions and give opinion. Why do you like dandelions more than sunflowers? Even if you don't, just prove me that you do. You can try to answer questions just about the video that you watched on YouTube, or ask questions about the material that you wrote down. Because when you ask yourself a question and you explaining it, you can see if you actually got it, if you understand it. And second, you actually talking. And the third one, talk to yourself. We do this all the time. We talking to ourselves in our head. Try to talk in Russian. Try to explain. Я иду на работу. Мне нужно сходить в туалет. Я хочу есть. You know, our brain does it all the time. Just switch the language and you will start to form a second brain, basically. That's exactly what happens. When you learn all those 4 processes of language in a new language, you basically have a second brain. Another way to put your thoughts down is just journaling. You don't have to write it down by hand. You can just type it and it will auto-spell all your spelling mistakes, which is great, but be careful. Sometimes you misspell the same word over and over and auto-spell just changes it without noticing, so you don't really learn how to spell the word correctly. I think the best way to learn is to actually hire a tutor. It's not that expensive if you hire a tutor that lives and works from Russia. Because of the currency difference, it will be way less expensive. Professional tutors do not judge you. You're here to learn and they know it. They're not gonna judge. They will help you. They will help you to pronounce. If you really feel like you have heavy accent that you have no idea what to do with it, you can hire a tutor just like me, because I'm a pronunciation tutor, which means I have a heavy training in phonetics. And I can help you to see what sounds you're mispronouncing and how to fix it. When there is a will, there is a way. And there is a way. There is a way around the shame. There is a way around all the negative beliefs and through them. And there is a way to learn Russian. And I'm here to help you. Please stay tuned and watch this video next.